Alright, I'm gonna be going through how I find ultra cheap apartments, and this is pretty cut and dry. I'm not really gonna be adding any fluff to it. So this is made with Gamma. So if there's a couple of little edit mistakes or anything, that's what it is. It's just more time efficient to do it this way. So I gave it a whole prompt, and not really a prompt, but I wrote basically a paper on it, and then it did the rest of it, all the visual, and added it up. So I never use like apartments.com, or I don't know what any other one is, because I always find mine on Facebook Marketplace. Now, majority of the time that's been good. I've only had one bad one where I moved in and I didn't know that it was a halfway house. But besides that, it's been fantastic. So, um, I always use Facebook Marketplace, and that's always what I do. If you have friends, or with the coworkers who are like 30 plus, you could check around and see if anybody has something to rent for you. But usually they're going to want, even if it's at a discounted rate, you're going to be able to find something cheaper. So for example, in Minneapolis here, I don't know what the average one bedroom is, like somewhere between $1,000 to $1,200, I think. um, and I have some people, they want to rent me, or they would rent me a room for $600 in their house, and I live with them. um, and I know them and everything. It's a nice house, but like right now I'm paying 400. All my utilities are included. The extra $200 a month, extra $200 we can invest. And I found this on Facebook. Found a halfway house one on Facebook, and then I found the one in St. Paul. That one was 450 a month. That was a really nice one. Um, all on Facebook. Okay, these are kind of what we just. I actually we just kind of talked about this. Craigslist I would not do. Uh, Craigslist killer, whatever. I don't know. I never go on Craigslist, so I would just avoid that one. But if you absolutely are trying to find the cheapest options, uh, you can go with Craigslist. I don't know. Hopefully, you don't get a weirdo. Facebook Marketplace has less weirdos. Um, that's where I do all my stuff, and then word of mouth or walking around, just like I was saying, talk to some coworkers and stuff. They usually want just a little bit extra cash. They don't want to rent to anybody random, so it's a win-win for both of you guys. Just if you're trying to find that sweet spot, I'd go to Facebook Marketplace. Okay, time versus money trade-off. So one, split the difference. So when I first came into the cities, uh, I went and I was in St. Paul. I was going to school in St. Paul, and my work was at the airport job, or airport. Sorry if you don't follow the channel or nothing. But I worked at the airport too, so I split the difference between them. I think each one of them was like 10 to 15 minutes, depending on if you're talking from school. It was less than 10 minutes versus work was 10 minutes or 15 minutes away. So that worked out great for me. I hate having commute time, because that's time that I could spend working, recovering, working out, just be more productive with it. I mean, on my rides and stuff, I still like listen to audiobooks, YouTube, and sometimes music. But I mean, if you're even listening to audiobooks, I don't know. It's kind of hard to get in there. The shorter it is, it just I think it's the better. So then, pick your priority too. So now, the place that I live at right now is going to the University of Minnesota, Minneapolis. I changed schools. So this one, I was still 15 minutes away from work, but then I was walking distance from school. So uh, that helped me out a lot, because especially because the parking here is terrible. That's why we're making a parking app. But it saved me a lot of time being able to just like walk to school and not drive, find parking, have to pay for parking and stuff like that. So time is the best asset, and time is money. That good old saying. So I try to stay within 20 minutes at the very maximum. Okay, price range. I always make it go. I put my price range to $100 to $500. Reason is, if you ever do anything on Facebook and you put like whatever max, I don't know. Say you're trying to find like a vacuum, you put max $50. You could find a bunch of them who, or if you do jobs too, um, you'll find a whole bunch of them for like $1 or 1, 2, 3, and it's for offers or it's for something special. So I always make the minimum 100. Plus, if you're looking for an apartment and it's below $100, it's probably talking about like a daily stay, which is not what you want to do. So yeah, that's why I do 100, and then 500 has been my max, because I found that I can usually find apartments below $500. So Let's see if I got anything else in here for notes. Always negotiate for utilities to be included in that 500. I've never negotiated for that because they always are included. So that was just something that Gamma added. And yeah, I don't know. I never had to pay utilities besides the one that I was paying for 450. I just had to pay for electricity. We just didn't use the heater though. So I mean, until maybe February, it got cold. We could see our breath in there. So I think that kind of beats that one down. Roommate reality check. Okay, while you're doing this, you're gonna have a bunch of roommates. So when I was in that halfway house deal, I think we had somewhere between a dozen and 16 people in there, which is a lot of bodies. So you're just gonna have to put up with it. Good side is, if you don't like where you're staying at, there's nothing to do besides leave there. So that means you can go to work or go work out or, just do something productive rather than hang out in the room. So you're gonna have shared kitchen, shared bathroom. There's gonna be noise. Everybody's gonna be on different schedules. Luckily, 2 out of the 3 places that I've been in the last several years, I've only had one roommate. I had one from back home that I knew that came up to the cities, but then or I wasn't home, but he got robbed at gunpoint there. So then we moved out. He moved back down home. Then I went to the halfway house, and now I'm in this one right now with another coworker. This is by far the best one so far. But whenever you move into someone, make sure you have ground rules. Dishes is usually a big one for people who are cleaning up. I solved the dishes one by only having 2 forks, 2 spoons, 2 plates, 2 bowls. That way, if you want to eat again, you got to clean it. So that was pretty sweet. Keep everything in your room, especially if you don't know the people. Make sure to lock your door. I don't know. Don't be rude or anything. Like, everybody's doing their thing. And for example, I was working later at night when I was working at this dealership. So I'd leave at like 7:30 or 8 o'clock, and then I'd come back at I don't know, usually past 9 p.m. And my roommate here likes to wake up early. So when he comes in, he's relatively loud in the morning. He wakes up at like maybe 5 o'clock. But, you just put up with it. And don't expect luxury or perfection. I think that kind of goes, I think it's kind of obvious. I think it's kind of fun too if something doesn't work, because like my stove leaks gas, my light doesn't work. They gave me a lamp in here when I first came in. I now have like Christmas lights and stuff, but things are gonna go wrong for sure if you're gonna stay in, under 450. 450, I didn't have any issues with besides the bathtub peeling up, but 400 or lower, if you're in a big city like Minneapolis, not everything is gonna work. But I think that's kind of fun, right? You practice your problem solving, and I don't know, you appreciate things more later on. So, yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, if you can't if you don't like problem solving and stuff, just focus on the money that you're saving. You're saving a whole bunch of cash. I mean, I maybe spend probably around $1,200 a month, on average, and that's what some of my friends pay in rent. So like, you're saving a whole bunch of cash and setting yourself up for later. Okay, safety and savings, the uncomfortable truth. Um, oh yeah, if you go to a high crime area, the apartments are usually cheaper. That's why we got robbed at gunpoint at my first place. So, let's see. I don't really got to worry about it in Dinkytown besides the like little halfway house thing. I don't know. I always like keeping a low profile. I know I'm friends with the homeless guys here in Dinkytown, and one of the guys asked me if I was homeless, and I was actually going to school here. So I just wear, I don't know, sweatshirts, sweatpants, um, backpacks and stuff falling apart. I kind of like it that way. It's kind of nice. I think it just has character with it. But I don't know. I've always just kept a low profile, mind my own business, and yeah, right here, accept character building, just like all your clothes that have holes in them and stuff. So I don't know. I really like it. I don't really showboat, and I keep to myself. And then usually people will just leave you alone. So yeah, just don't give anybody a reason to target you or try to rob you. So okay, what you're actually trading away. Okay, I guess it's not. To me, it doesn't really mean that much. What you're gonna be losing are like private bathroom, kitchen, reliable utilities. Pest control, that one kind of sucks. I had mice in a halfway house deal. That wasn't very cool, but I got taken care of. Security and maintenance responsiveness. Like, even when our kitchen light here was flickering, and when you turn it on, it only goes about 10%. So then we took one light bulb from another place and then put it in there. But they don't have another light bulb, I guess. It has been like maybe a month. And also, like, the stove leaks gas, and that's been whatever for a year and a half. So, whatever, you just lose a little bit of stuff. And then probably the bigger one that people are more ashamed of is the social limitations, because not many people want to come over here to my place. They'd rather have it at their house, and if you want to have like a party or something and you like to host, it's going to really limit that, because one, you're going to be short for space, and then two, uh, your place isn't very nice. I don't know. Some people like it. I always at work or with friends and stuff, they always joke about my place. I think it's kind of fun. It kind of makes it funny. But yeah, to me, it doesn't really mean much to me. On the other side, though, you'll save, depending on where you live at and what the normal is, $3,000 to $6,000 per year. So, I mean, even mine's more than that, I guess. Let's just be nice and say a one bedroom is $1,000 in Minneapolis. Or we could even do, well, that'll be easy math, $1,000. So $1,000, I pay 400, 600 out of the spread, times that by 12, $7,200 a year. So I'm saving $7,200 a year by living here in just rent, let alone like the I don't really want to be home because there's not anything to do here. I don't even have a TV. So it pushes me to go back to work, or pushes me to go work out and go do other things. There's not really much exciting things that are going to happen at home, at least not in my life. War stories from experience. Let's see what this is. There's my roommate who got robbed at gunpoint. Halfway house. Oh yeah, we found a needle in the back there. Um. Okay, yeah. So maybe the first two were like a little too extreme. I think the first one was fine. The second one was pretty weird. Um, I think I was 21 or 22 at the time, and the average age in there is probably like 35. And there's a dude down there. I was in the basement trying to cook in the kitchen, and his name was Rob. And Rob had a whole bunch of scabs on his face and stuff. And then I found a needle later that day. I don't know if he's diabetic or not. Maybe so. But, anyways, that one kind of sucked. Then my landlord tried taking my bike, and I needed to show him Facebook receipts that I had bought the bike from a guy and that it was mine. So I didn't really like that place. That one was a little far out there, a little too extreme, I guess. But I don't know. Some of the ones, the next one after that, I had one single room and that was it. Community bathroom, no kitchen, and I was cooking the Instapot on the ground. They're really good memories to me, and I think they're funny, and I like looking back at it. And all your friends and coworkers and stuff, whoever you're friends with, they're gonna think it's funny, and I don't know. I think it's funny and it's good character building, so I kind of like it in that sense. Know your limits. So, for example, one of my friends are trying to look for somewhere in Florida, and they're a woman, and they don't feel safe going to an unsafe neighborhood. I'm not gonna tell them to do that, or whatever else. You are the judge of your social norms and know your area. So I wouldn't really recommend particularly looking at an unsafe spot, because that doesn't really sound smart. But, if you can find somewhere in the sweet middle, you can probably find somewhere cheaper. So there's cheap and then there's unsafe. I wouldn't really recommend going to a halfway house. That's not very good. So yeah, trust your gut. Social impacts. You can definitely have friends over. I do have friends that come over here. I get this big projector. I got a couple buddies that come here, but a lot of people won't want to. But that's okay. And temporary mindset. Oh yeah, just for a little bit of time. You don't have to live like this all the time. Just you have so much, especially if you're in your 20s, early 20s. You have so much time on your hands for the compound interest to kick in. I've always thought that saving it up as much as you can in the beginning will make a big difference, and I've put numbers to it. I don't really know what I had, like 5 years ago, but I was saving up a bunch, and then July 2024, I had $158,000 for a net worth. About $100,000 that was in cash, which I won't go into the whole thing if that's being smart or dumb, but there's a lot of uncertain times. Anyways, I started flooding cash into the stock market, and now it is November, and I have $268,000 year to date. So, not year to date. I don't know why I added that. Today. So whatever. That's $110,000 difference in the last 15 months or 16 months. I don't know, I'm not gonna do the math, but that's pretty good. I'm 24 years old, and it should only go up from there. Now that helps out with the bull market too. Bull market's been going great. I'm actually gonna liquidate a little bit. That'll be for another video because times are a little uncertain here. So it doesn't always work out, but nobody can predict the future. Cash is always king, though. Bottom line, it works everywhere. Small towns, big towns. My friends moved to Texas. I found a couple places on Facebook for them. Just a couple, ideas. You can find somewhere, anywhere. Small towns are going to be a little bit harder because it's a smaller market, but cities for sure, you're just fine. You can find somewhere in the suburbs too, so it's not as loud, but yeah. Save money like this. Just do this for a season, like Pedro Davis says. 1 or 2 years. Get your cash. Start a business. I don't know. Give it away. Whatever you want to do. I really don't care what you do with your money. But I always think cash is good to have. And that ends it. I'll probably do another one of these way in the future because this isn't a highest quality presentation, I guess. But, good practice, and hopefully that helps somebody out. And have a good day. Peace.